Marie loved working with the children of the church, and they loved her. They have prepared a tribute to her this morning. I invite our children and Miss Stephanie to sing their special song for Miss Marie. Scripture lesson today is from the book of Isaiah, chapter 40, verses 28 to 31. Found on page 1121 in your Bible. Have you not known? Have you not heard? The Lord is the everlasting God, the creator of the ends of the earth. He does not faint or grow weary. His understanding is unsearchable. He gives power to the faint and strengthens the powerless. Even youths will faint and be weary, and the young will fall exhausted. But those who wait for the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings like eagles. They shall run and not be weary. They shall walk and not faint. This is the word of God.
Thanks be to God. When we originally announced that we would be having a funeral service for Marie on Sunday morning, not a few people said, "What? I've never heard of that before." And we said, well, okay, but everyone from church really wanted to be there. Marie was a huge, huge part of this place and continues to be. So for those of you who are joining us, especially this morning, thank you. Thank you so much for giving up your Sunday morning at your own church, or maybe you have a Sunday morning where you sleep in and read the paper. What's that like? And thank you for being here. Thank you. Marie had a special nickname among all those who knew her in this church, and especially among the deacons, which she was a member of for many years. We knew her as our Energizer Bunny. No matter what came Marie's way, she kept going and going and going. She met any challenge in her life with determination and good humor and faith. So much so, in fact, that Marie caused many of us to wonder on many occasions how she could possibly have such a good attitude. How she had built a faith so strong. It would have almost been easier to believe in a pink bunny that went around ceaselessly beating a drum, right, than in this woman who could hold her own no matter what life threw her way. A battery, even if we don't really grasp the chemistry, at least we can understand. But Marie's strength and power came from someplace else entirely. You might be familiar with the passage from Isaiah that Susan just read, and even at a surface level, it has obvious connections to Marie's life, right? As she, faced with challenge after challenge, did not grow weary, but learned to walk again and again. This passage from Isaiah was originally written to a group of people who, by all measures, should have given up. The people of Israel had been beaten by a foreign army. They had been taken away out of their homes, away from their lives, their businesses, away from the land of their ancestors and the temple where they worshipped God, into the land of Babylon. Not only did God's people lose their physical things, their homes, their place in the world, but for many, it felt like they had lost their God. It would have been completely understandable under the circumstances for them to have abandoned God altogether, right? Defeated in battle, and to accept the gods of Babylon. It would have been perfectly reasonable for them to have assimilated into the Babylonian culture and given up on the lives they knew, leaving them behind. But for some reason, they didn't. They kept the faith. There was this one time, I met with Marie in the hospital, and she told me that she felt like giving up. Frankly, I said to her, I was a little bit relieved to hear her say that, because it was normal, faced with the challenges that she lived with, to become discouraged. It would make sense. I could understand that. But that moment was just that, a moment. A blip on the radar, an outlier, and soon Marie again became a person whose hope and peace and joy were a mystery even to me, were a sign of her deep and abiding faith. For those Israelites who had kept the faith in Babylon, God's words in the book of Isaiah come as a healing balm, as a reassurance that their preposterous hope was exactly right. That just at the moment of their hopelessness, just when it would have made total sense to give up and move on, that is where God came to meet them, bringing power to the faint, strengthening the powerless, reminding the lonely that they are loved, healing the brokenhearted, forgiving the regretful, building hope and a future out of ashes. The passage begins with these questions. Have you not known? Have you not heard? Because in a way, faith begins with memory. Because the Israelites could remember who God was and what God had done in their lives before, they could believe that God could do still more. It's going to be the same for us, I think, as we try to go back to our lives missing Marie. Faith is going to begin with memory. We will remember her perseverance, how she did not just give up when the going got tough. We will remember the way Marie loved in such a big, open-hearted way that anybody who met her in any part of her life instantly loved her. Beyond her good sense of humor and her light, gentle manner, we will remember Marie as a skilled listener. For many years now, Marie has been the official card writer of this church, sending cards on birthdays and anniversaries of every single one of our members. Now, if this were my job, I would do my best to pick out a very nice card at the drugstore and write happy birthday and send it off, right? But Marie always wrote a long, special note full of the details of our lives that she knew, that she remembered, and her individualized well wishes, and often stickers. We will remember that she loved us fiercely. We will remember her joy in sharing her life with Phil and their devotion to one another, their care for one another. We will remember how much she delighted in her little nephew, Rafi, and her family. We prayed for her brother, John, living in Singapore frequently. Marie rarely asked for prayers for herself, but always remembered to pray for others. We will remember that no matter how difficult her life seemed to an outsider, Marie was always able to see and connect with us at the point of our own pain. She never compared it to hers. She just met us where we were. And she lives on in us, in those of us who carry her in our hearts as we remember her as a place for our faith to begin. Faith begins with memory. So when we feel the pain, the absence of Marie in our lives and in our guts, perhaps she is calling to us, reaching to us, reminding us that we can keep going and going and going. When we feel the temptation to just give up, let's remember Marie. Those who wait for the Lord shall renew their strength, Isaiah writes. Even young people get tired and need to sit down, but God gives power to the faint and strengthens the powerless. Marie's life proved these lines from Isaiah as she tirelessly, powerfully lived her life to the fullest. And those of us who remain here without her, well, I think she would want us to continue on in her legacy, to face our challenges with hope and determination, to love one another carefully and attentively, to laugh just as often as we possibly could, to walk and to run and to dance and to never give up, no matter the odds, and to trust in God to bring us one day home. As all of you know who are gathered here, the sanctuary exists on the second floor. Sometimes it was a challenge for Marie to get up those steps. But whether at the back of the sanctuary or at the bottom of the stairs, when church was over, Phil would be waiting with her wheelchair and would say, "Your chariot, my dear." And so we sing a song about another kind of chariot, a heavenly one, where God has met Marie to take her, like Phil has done so many times, home. I think she would like this song. I think she would like for us to be a little upbeat, to giggle a little bit at the play on words, and to think about the chariot awaiting. Friends, if you're comfortable, will you stand and sing with me, Swing Low, Sweet Chariot, number 520.
carry me home. Tell all my friends I'm coming forth to carry me home. Sweet love, sweet chariot, coming forth to carry me home. Sweet love, sweet chariot, coming forth to carry me home. I'm sometimes up, I'm sometimes down.
Friends, you may be seated as we enter into a time of remembrances. I'm going to ask Phil Meagan, who is Marie's partner in life and crime, to come up here to say a few words. Preparational tissues.
Well, I guess I'll start by saying, I hope I do okay. Marie was the writer, and I've never spoken in public before. And Uncle Phil does tend to babble on, so.
That's 5 minutes, I'll push you.
Let me start by sending my condolences to the Martinez family. Edie, Marie's mom. Brothers John, Pablo, Dave, and their loved ones. And the entire church congregation. Her family and church family meant so much to Marie. Thank you all for the joy and the love that you brought into her life. Marie was all about joy. Her sweet demeanor, in spite of such overwhelming adversity. 50 years of diabetes, and all the things that came with it. The loss of her vision, the open heart surgery, even the loss of her legs couldn't keep Marie's strong spirit down. She always thought to be considerate and kind to others, in spite of what pain she was in. I hope someday to have as brave a heart as Marie did. The love that Miss Marie had for her Sunday school kids, most of which are grown by now and become young adults, and yet still call her Miss Marie. How much she loved, how much Auntie Marie loved little Raphael, Pablo and Rebecca's son. And most importantly, I want to thank Marie for the love that we shared and the joy that she brought to my life. Marie was my soulmate and the one and only love of my life. I shall miss Marie's laughter and her smile that could light up even the darkest times. I will keep Marie in my heart always and try to remember how brave she was when I miss her the most, and how much she filled my heart in the times that I was blessed to have her with me. She was my honey bunny, and I adored her. So let me finish by saying to Marie what I always said to her, as she loved her dialysis, or I love her work, or some silly thing. I love you. Bye-bye.
That was good. You did really well. Do you want to add a joke in or something to take up some more time? Okay. I'm very glad. Marie's sister-in-law, Rebecca, is going to come say a few words now. This pain that we all feel, that we see and feel, it's a sign of true love, It hurts so bad because we really loved her so much. It was real. And that's what those feelings mean. We welcome them.
Good morning. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Rebecca Martinez, wife of Pablo Martinez, mother to Rafael, and sister-in-law of Marie. Although I was only blessed to know Marie for around 11 years, in that short time, I learned much about her character and her spirit. Marie was a kind and generous soul, positive and cheerful, and most importantly, a devoted and very loving aunt to our son, Rafael. When she first learned she was going to be an aunt, she was so joyful and excited. Even during times of poor health, she vowed to stay strong so as to see Rafael grow and his personality emerge as he became older. In the early days of his life, she sent him a birthday card every month of the first year he was born, along with every possible holiday there is. Marie was always genuinely excited to see him when she joined us for family lunches or celebrations. Rafael also enjoyed being around his aunt, pushing her in her wheelchair, playing with her hair, and sleeping peacefully in her arms when he was an infant. I understand it is very difficult to think of a world without Marie, for her mom, her brothers, for her partner Phil, for me, and for Rafael. However, the words of Rumi the poet comfort me, and I thought I would share them with her loved ones, everyone in this church and beyond, so as to comfort everyone as well. Goodbyes are only for those who love with their eyes. Because for those who love with heart and soul, there is no such thing as separation.
And one more remembrance from Marie's brother John. Those members of this church know we prayed for him often in his travels and adventures, and Marie was so excited for us to finally get to meet him. I know she's thrilled that we're all meeting him today.
Thank you, everyone, for coming today. I'm especially very grateful that I had the chance to be here with my wife, Annika. We come to the United States once a year. I actually haven't lived here for 25 years, so it's really, it's a coincidence, of course, but it's also a great gift that I was able to be here at the same time that all of us experienced the end of Marie's life on this earth. It's also my birthday today, and I'm grateful for this for many reasons. I have a lot of reasons to be happy. Had I come 6 months or 9 months later, it would have been completely different. People would have, dissipated. The feelings would have been different, less immediate, and I'm very thankful for that. So, what I feel about Marie is that she lived in such a way that I would want to. She understood what was important in life. She lived by values that she held to, that we shared in common. Although I only saw her maybe once a year, every time I talked to her, it was immediate, it was strong, it was common. We understood each other through 52 years of my life as truly brothers and sisters, both biologically and in faith. I am so glad that I knew her. I have nothing to feel sad about today except my own loss. Occasionally when I called her, we would say the Lord's Prayer together. And I feel that most importantly to me, and when I used to teach children after church, I haven't for a few years, but I used to concentrate on what I felt were 4 values that Jesus taught us that don't necessarily exist in other religions that I know of so well. And I don't mean to denigrate anyone else's faith. What I mean is that I'm so happy that Marie and I both understood what he taught us, particularly forgiveness, the need and the truth of equality of all people, charity, which all of us understand, and hope. Marie's hope, as 2 people before me spoke of, was indestructible. Marie had every reason for giving up, and she never did. And I never heard her complain. I never heard her be resentful. She was never jealous. She never blamed anyone for her situation. I don't know if many of you know this, but the complete loss of vision in one of her eyes was due to malpractice. She never blamed the doctor. She said it was God's will. I don't know how many of us could be so understanding. I don't think I could have been. She taught me extreme patience and generosity. I brought this debit card today because it represents her generosity. This was her last gift to me. She gave me 2 of these for $50. I felt guilty to take it. I said, Marie, you need this more than me. So I kept it. I've had this for a year. And another fairly amazing coincidence is that I decided about a month ago, before I knew Marie had passed, of course, that I should use it. Watching the news, I saw the destruction caused in Puerto Rico by the Hurricane Maria, her name in Spanish. So I donated the 2 cards, and I didn't have a chance to tell her yet. That would have been on this trip. So I'm just here. I believe she does not. I believe there's a connection between her and myself that will exist forever with the people that she touched, people in this room that care about. I believe there's a connection between all of us. I truly believe in this. That, along with Marie's will, is indestructible. I thank you all for that. I learned about Marie's passing when I was in Cambodia 3 weeks ago, building houses with the organization Tabitha Foundation. And I was foolishly standing on a plastic chair, nailing something above my head, and the chair fell apart and I fell backwards. And I hurt my shoulder. One of the ladies in the group pulled me aside and said, "Are you okay?" You know, I could have hit my head on concrete, so forth. Nothing happened. And I just said, "Yeah, I'm just having a bad day." I learned this morning in the van on the way to the work site that my sister died. And, you know, of course, that is the best, actually the best situation to be in. With a bunch of volunteers, a bunch of like-minded people who care about you, that you're connected to on some plane. Many people came to help me. The following day when we built the house, we got together, we dedicated it to her. And I didn't know it actually at the time, but one of the members of the crew is also a priest, recently ordained actually, about a year before. And he held a short ceremony, prayer ceremony for us. So there's a house in Cambodia with her name on it now. Yeah. So in closing, what I wanted to say was the most important thing to me, it just helped me the most through this period. I'm learning about Marie's passing and reflecting on how much I loved her and how much she did for me. She protected me as I was younger than her. She taught me a lot. As an example, she showed me how to live selflessly. I went to church in Cambodia about 3 days later, and just beautiful coincidences happened. I didn't even know it, but the leader of the Tabitha organization also attended and did the readings of that service. I was just so thankful because I thought, you know, I could have gone home alone. I could have walked the streets, felt sorry for myself. I could have, you know, gone somewhere, had a few drinks. And instead I went to church. And I was in the community of people who understood what's important in life. Where we should be at the right time, the right places, and what we should be doing in whatever way we feel appropriate. I just would wish that in honor of Marie, that we could all spend a little time maybe this week. I know I will, arguing less, appreciating the people that we're with, calling people we haven't called in a while, being patient with whoever is a little bit slow. Do this for Marie, and you do this for all of us, my family. Thank you very much. God bless you.
It's appropriate if you want to give some applause to all these brave folks who spoke